What if one mistake in your creative business could wipe out your savings? It sounds dramatic, but I have seen it happen. Now, whether you are podcasting, producing videos, selling digital products, or building an audience in any other way, if you're earning money or trying to from your creative work, you're running a business, and that business needs protection. That's where having an LLC can come in. And that's the topic of this episode, why you probably need an LLC and how to set it up the smart way. Let's go. Hey there, it's Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer, and this is Legit Podcast Pro, where we help you build a legally sound, sustainable creative business without the headaches or the high-priced legal fees. And today's topic is one I wish more creators understood earlier. Let's start with the basics. LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. It's a business structure that helps separate you personally from the legal and financial risks of your business. That means that if your business gets sued or if something goes wrong, your personal assets like your house, your car, your bank accounts, retirement funds aren't automatically on the line. Now, it's not a silver bullet, but it is a solid layer of protection, and it's very flexible. You don't need investors or partners. One-person LLCs are totally allowed, and really common for creatives. So why should you care? Why should you think about this? Well, because if you're selling merch or products or earning ad or sponsor revenue or offering services, taking client payments, hiring contractors, or releasing any kind of content out to the public, then you are exposed and an LLC helps to protect you. It's also a credibility booster. When sponsors, guests, or collaborators see that you've got a business entity in place, they know you're taking things seriously. It's easier to open business bank accounts, apply for grants, and sign contracts in your business's name instead of in your own name. And that also means that your business owns the intellectual property, the money, the brand, and not you personally. That's part of insulating you from that liability. And that's a big deal when it comes time to grow, collaborate, or even sell your business. We should also talk about taxes because this is another area where LLCs can really shine. By default, an LLC is a pass-through entity. That means the business doesn't pay taxes separately. The income just flows through to your personal tax return. But you can also choose to have your corporation taxed as a corporation, or LLC taxed as a corporation. And if you're earning enough, that could save you money on things like self-employment taxes. I don't want to go too deep here because that's more of a conversation you want to have with your accountant. But the point is, LLCs give you options, and options equal flexibility. That's good for business. So when should you form your LLC? Well, here's my take. If you are just testing the idea, maybe launching a hobby podcast or putting a few things out there just to see what happens, then you might want to wait. But the moment that you start earning money or start really trying to earn money or bring on collaborators or guests on the show, signing contracts, distributing something that could create some kind of liability, well, that's when it's time because the cost of waiting can be much more significant than the cost of the filing. And if you're treating this like a real business or you want others to treat it that way, well, then you have to start acting like it. Now, let's be real. LLCs aren't free. There are filing fees and minimum taxes to be paid, and those things vary depending on where you live. In some states, it's as low as $50 or $75. In others, like here in California, you're looking at a minimum of $800 in minimum taxes per year, plus the filing fees and things. So you really need to think hard about it. And you also have to file annual statements and reports, pay a registered agent, maybe, renew your business licenses, those kinds of things. So this is where you really need to run the numbers. If you're just getting started and you live in one of those high-cost states, well, it actually might make more sense to just start with solid business insurance and form the LLC a little bit later. That's not legal advice. It's a cost-benefit decision you'll have to make based on your risk and revenue. And you might want to talk to somebody like me to get some answers on what makes sense. But don't wait too long because waiting often is what leads to mistakes. In fact, waiting too long to get the legal stuff handled is what I would say is the single most common and devastating mistake I see creators making. Inside my Easy Legal for Podcasters program, we go deep into these decision points so you can choose what to do confidently. There's even a calculator that'll help you navigate the and weigh the costs. So, next question: should you form in a different state in order to save money? Well, What about all those internet gurus that tell you form your LLC in Delaware or Wyoming to save money? Here's the real truth on that. If you live and work in California or New York or Texas or one of the more high cost states, your business is doing business in that state. It's where the brain is, right? It's where the muscles are for the business. So even if you form your LLC in one of those cheaper states like Wyoming or Nevada or whatever, you'll still need to register as a foreign entity in that home state. That means that you're now paying fees in both states, filing in both states, and doubling your compliance headaches. So it's really not worth it for smaller companies. The best practice, I would say, is to form your LLC in the state where you live and do business. So, what are some of the common mistakes and misconceptions about this? Well, let's bust a few of those myths right off the bat. First off, one is I have an LLC, so I'm automatically protected. Well, not really. If you mix personal and business finances, we call it commingling, or you sign contracts in your own name, you can still be personally liable. Another myth is that LLCs are complicated and expensive. Well, not really. Most states make it pretty easy to get up and running and to operate your LLC. And with the templates and guides that I have available, it's even easier. Or I'll wait until I make more money, and that's fine. Nothing, as long as nothing goes wrong in the meantime. But accidents and lawsuits and contracts, they don't care about your revenue goals. They just care about what's happening right now. So don't delay protection just because you feel you're not big enough yet. I mean, after all, do you want to stay small forever, or you want to get into growth mode? Thinking like a business and thinking like a growing business is really important. So, how do you go about forming that LLC? Well, if you're ready to take action, here is the basic process. Choose your business name. Make sure it's available in your state. Usually it's pretty easy to do a search on the state's Secretary of State's records or something like that. Then file the articles of organization. That's usually a 1 or 2-page form or document. It goes into the Secretary of State's office or the equivalent in your state. And then you have to create an operating agreement. Even if it's just you, a one-person LLC, an operating agreement is an important document to have because it will define how your business operates. And if and when you ever decide to bring on partners or sell the business, having that operating agreement already in place is useful and streamlines the process. Next, you're going to get an employer ID number from the IRS. You go onto the IRS website, fill out an online form, and they will issue the EIN number. That's your tax ID number. Very quickly and easily. It's easy and it doesn't cost you anything to do that. Then open a business account. Don't mix your funds with the money that belongs to the company. It's okay to draw money out and pay yourself a salary, and it's okay to invest in the company. The important thing is keeping records and keeping track of it, so there's a set of books for the company that stands separate and apart from your personal bank accounts. Next, update all your contracts and documents. Things should be signed in the name of the LLC rather than your personal name. That's, in my case, it would be Firemark Enterprises LLC by Gordon Firemark, CEO, or something along those lines. So that's it. From there, you just have to keep things clean, keep those good records, stay in compliance, and enjoy the peace of mind. It's really not all that hard to do. Now, if you want all the legal templates, tools, and walkthroughs that make this whole process and a lot of other legal processes easy and affordable, come on over to either podcastlawforms.com. You can download the templates from there. Or if you're ready to get started with these things, check out my Easy Legal for Podcasters program at easylegalforpodcasters.com. And if you're more of the do-it-for-me type, reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you out. So look, forming an LLC won't magically make you successful, and it won't magically protect you from everything, but it is a clear signal to the outside world that you're serious about what you're building, that it is a business, and it will protect your personal assets, life, positions, your business for growth, and it makes you look legit because you are. If you're really ready to go pro with your creative business, the LLC is a smart place to start. It becomes the container for everything else the business does. So that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening or watching. And this has been Legit Podcast Pro. I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer, and I'll see you again next time. Have a great day.